Hey everyone, today we are mapping out the ultimate supernatural mess that is the Salvatore family tree from the Vampire Diaries. Forget normal family drama, this is a bloodline defined by toxic fathers, absentee mothers, 2,000-year-old bitter exes, and two brothers who can't go 5 minutes without sacrificing their lives for each other. Let's kick things off with our favorite centuries-old teenagers, Damon and Stefan. On one side, you have Stefan, the younger brother who lives on a diet of forest animals, works overtime to look intense in hallways, and spends centuries writing down his infinite sad feelings in a diary. On the other side, you have Damon, the older brother, who spends his time mocking Stefan's journaling and whose entire coping mechanism for emotional distress is smirking, drinking, wearing black leather jackets, and making terrible decisions all at the same time. These two spent decades ruining lives across the globe, but what casual fans always forget is that while they were busy being immortal, dramatic serial killers, their actual human family was left behind in Mystic Falls to deal with the consequences. Let's look at this brown line splitting off from their father, Giuseppe, and the unnamed family maid. While Damon and Stefan were running off around the world, a completely human line of Salvatores was quietly trying to survive in Virginia. Spoiler alert, it did not go well for them. It all starts with Giuseppe's illegitimate son, whose own son was Zachariah Salvatore. In 1912, Zachariah was running the town council and trying to protect the town until Samantha Gilbert, who was wearing a magical ring that was driving her completely insane, randomly stabbed him to death in the middle of the night. Then we skip down through his unnamed son to Joseph Salvatore in 1953. Now, some people think Damon just killed him for fun, but the truth is way darker. In 1953, Joseph invited Stefan and Damon back to the boarding house under the guise of family reunion. In reality, he was secretly working with the Augustine Society to sell them out for vampire experiments. Joseph stabbed Damon with a syringe of vervain to weaken him. And in a final desperate act of revenge, Damon stabbed Joseph in the neck with a broken glass and left him to bleed to death on June 11th, 1953, right before Dr. Whitmore arrived to drag Damon off to half a decade of torture. Which brings us down through another unnamed descendant straight to Zachary Salvatore. Poor Zach lives in the boarding house, grew vervain in his basement, and tried his best to live a quiet life free of supernatural drama. Back in 1994, he had a pregnant girlfriend named Gail. Damon, with his humanity turned completely off, killed the guests of the Salvatore boarding house and brutally fed on Gail until she died. Stefan rushed Gail's body to the hospital where doctors successfully delivered her premature baby, Sarah Nelson, by emergency C-section. Stefan compelled the devastated Zach to forget the baby even existed and secretly shipped her off to be raised safely. Years later, Damon ended up snacking Zach's neck anyway because Zach locked him in the basement cell. And poor Sarah, she eventually returns to Mystic Falls as an innocent art major, only to have her path crossed with the siren Sidbill, who used a mind-controlled Damon to ambush her. Sarah was brutally stabbed and bled to death in Stefan's arms, officially wiping out the entire human Salvatore line. Now, if you wonder why Damon and Stefan are so completely, deeply, fundamentally unstable, you don't have to look very far. Let's look at their parents, Giuseppe and Lily Salvatore. Giuseppe was an abusive 19th century patriarch who burned 12-year-old Damon with a cigar for stealing money that he didn't actually steal, spiked Stefan's drink with vervain to trap Catherine Pierce, and eventually shot both of his own teenage sons in a field because they tried to rescue her. Oh, and excuse the actor change, but his death was pure karma. When Stefan returned in transition, Giuseppe tried to stake him. Stefan used his new accidental vampire strength to throw his father aside, causing Giuseppe to accidentally stab himself in the abdomen with his own broken stake. Giuseppe died looking at Stefan with absolute revulsion as Stefan licked his bloody fingers to complete his transition. Then we have Lily. She caught consumption in 1858, got turned by an unknown nurse, and faked her death to protect her family. But she quickly became a ruthless ripper, tearing through Europe and leaving a massive trail of corpses. The Gemini Coven finally caught her in Manhattan and trapped her in a prison world on October 31st, 1903, where she stayed for over a century until Damon and Bonnie freed her in 2013. She loved her adoptive heretic family more than her actual sons and eventually staked herself in a tragic failed attempt to kill her abusive boyfriend Julian, only to have a bitter Damon give her a cold send-off on her deathbed. But to understand the true origin of why this family is so cursed, we have to look past the 1800s and travel all the way back to ancient Greece. This is where 3 people managed to ruin the entire supernatural world because they couldn't handle a basic relationship. Meet Silas and Amara. 2,000 years ago, they decided to steal the immortality elixir from Silas's brilliant fiancée, Ketsia, so they could be together forever. Ketsia, possessing a PhD in aggressive petty behavior, retaliated by faking Amara's death, petrifying her and turning her living body into the physical, painful anchor to the other side. Amara spent over 2,000 years fully awake but paralyzed, feeling the agonizing death of every single supernatural soul passing through her, which drove her completely insane by the time she was uncovered in season 5. Because Amara and Silas broke the natural order by becoming immortal, nature retaliated by spawning literal carbon copies of them across history, like a glitching office printer. If we follow Silas's family bloodline all the way down to the modern era, we get Tom Avery, a perfectly innocent paramedic from Atlanta whose only goal in life was saving people. Because the travelers needed to eliminate all but one set of doppelgangers to cast their magic undoing spell, Enzo ruthlessly tracked Tom down to a diner and snapped his neck, killing him instantly. R.I.P. Tom, you were too good for this show. Now let's look back at Stefan. The internet loves to label him the good, romantic brother, but his actual dating history is a literal graveyard. Back in 1863, before he was even turned into a vampire, he met Valerie Toole. They had a romance that resulted in an unborn child, which was tragically lost after Lily's sadistic boyfriend, Julian, brutally beat Valerie to cause a miscarriage. Fast forward a century and a half of intense brooding, and Stefan finally moves on to marry Caroline Forbes. It's beautiful. It's sweet. They finally find happiness, and then Stefan literally commits self-sacrifice hours after the wedding ceremony to save the town from hellfire. Caroline became a loving wife and a grieving widow in under 24 hours. He basically treated his marriage like a one-day free trial. Brilliant pacing, Stefan. Finally, we hit the endgame. Damon Salvatore. He spent 3 seasons trying to steal his younger brother's girlfriend, completely succeeded by the way, took the vampire cure, and ended up happily married to human Elena. According to Legacy's canon, they had a daughter named Stephanie Salvatore, along with some other unnamed children, which brings up the single biggest financial and medical mystery in the entire TVD universe. How exactly are Damon and Elena affording a massive multi-million-dollar historic estate in Virginia on a small-town doctor's salary while raising multiple children right after the entire town's economy was almost vaporized completely by literal hellfire? The math is not simply mathing. And there you have it. The Salvatore bloodline, a family where your brother is your ancient ancestor's genetic clone, your mother abandons you for a squad of goth heretics, and your human relatives get taken out because they tried to manage property in Virginia. Now, you might have noticed a massive, mysterious blank section on the left side of this map labeled Petrova Ancestry. That is a completely separate rabbit hole of ancient travelers, toxic doppelgangers, and Catherine Pierce running for her life. If you want to see that tree completely broken down in the next video, make sure to smash that subscribe button right now, drop a comment telling me who the most toxic person on this chart is, and follow me right here at Dobadog. See you next time.